Hey, hey, what's going on? So, at 7 o'clock, we have the Surfs TV coming on, but I decided to come on early. Decided to come on early and kill some time. We should be having the Surfs TV for like about an hour, but people don't know. Um, it's a for people who don't know, it's a site. It's a streamer on. Sorry, just rearranging stuff. It's a streamer on Twitch, and he does pretty good. He does pretty good. Daily news discussion, and it's like one of the places I've been going to get my daily news. So it's pretty good. You should check him out. The website is twitch.tv, I believe, slash the Surfs TV. I could be wrong, but how's everybody doing? For the people who get exceedingly mad when I take a long time to get to the point, because some of y'all have that MTV Twitter attention span. If we don't hit the ground running, you guys lose it. Let me know in the comments. This is gonna be one of those days. Jump ahead like to the 2 minute mark or something. There's a progress bar there. You can double the speed. You don't have to let me know that I took too long to hit the ground running to your preference. I'm very unorganized today. Okay, let's see. But yeah, how's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling today? What's the good word? Hope everyone's doing well. But yeah, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. I want to talk to them about. I want to talk about how the impeachment's going. Our friend Neera Tanden, one of the worst people for people who follow politics. Neera Tanden has been getting in trouble for her tweets, and the delicious irony of that is getting in the way of her confirmation hearing. Even like her bad tweets might, give her a hard time in a confirmation hearing. I'm not holding out hope that she's not going to get confirmed. She'll get confirmed because I just feel like power takes care of power, and they're just going to make her jump through the hoops. But I don't think she's in danger of not getting confirmed. But at the very least, it is fun to watch her have to be uncomfortable. I'll say that. I'll take what I can get. Vita should be joining us too. Let me make sure she's going to join us. I have so much stuff going on the screen right now. Hey, Paul Kemp, how's it going? Hey, ADO's children, Sean Breezy. Oh, yeah, Cameron, I got that. I thought I replied to you. I guess I'm wrong. I thought I replied, but thank you. K. Oat Laugh the Light. I should come on earlier more often. I feel like a lot of y'all are more engaged early. Hey, Sly, how you feeling? Yeah, so in about like 15 minutes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were talking about this. Yeah, she's a prime example of loyalty as a one and only career strategy, and it's got her far. I mean, those Clinton people, they love those Clinton Obama people. They love loyalty. She has more loyalty. The problem with the Clinton crowd, and even more so the Trump crowd. But people know Trump is dumb, so at least not surprising anybody. But the Clinton crowd, particularly Hillary, more than Bill. Bill likes loyalty, but brains too. Hillary just really liked loyalty, but you could be dumb as rocks. And she has a lot of dumb people. No, I heard it's good, but I'm taking a break from TV and movies unless it's something that I'm reviewing for the show. So if this Lupin show is good, they think it's good to review for the show, I'll watch it. But yeah, I have a lot of books I'm catching up on. With this quarantine, it's a great time to catch up on guests I've always wanted. If you notice, we've been having and are going to continue to have a lot of guests with books, and I've been able. It used to be hard to have guests with books because between work and watching TV and movies, there was no time to read the books. But now we're quarantined. There's no commute time. I figure this is a great time to just read all those books I always wanted to read. So yeah, the last thing I watched was, as far as TV shows, was that show Bridgerton, and that was pretty awful. Made it easy to quit. TV after that. Like I watched it because we're gonna review Bridgerton and the show Warrior, but it was such like a waste of time. I was like, why did I even watch this? Even as a hate watch, it wasn't even interesting as a hate watch. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so it wasn't even good in that way. I felt like I really wasted my time. Let me let Rita know that we're on. I was just sitting around bored, so I just came on a little bit early, just check in with the people. I wanted to play some stuff for you guys, but hold on. Let's see. Let's see. 1 second. Let me know. I'm just letting people know that we're on, and I'm gonna play a little something. So bear with me. But hey, Da, how you feeling? Yeah, Bridgerton. You know the problem with Bridgerton? It wasn't that it was just whack, but it was boring. Like some shows are boring, but you just get shocked at how bad they keep getting, and it's just like so bad they're good. Bridgerton is like just under mediocre to the point like I was just falling asleep. I kept watching in hopes something laughably bad would happen, and like one or two times something horrifyingly bad happened that made for good commentary. But really, to podcast about it, I could have watched about 40 minutes of it. There's only 40 minutes of footage that contain all the bad things you need to talk about. Yeah, Neera is really dumb. I mean, people I trust have. Oh yeah, we have a guest to talk about that. That's why I haven't been talking about it. But I will say, I don't want to badmouth. Um, I don't want to badmouth a black woman necessarily unless they've done something pretty bad. I don't really like to just beat up on black people unless I think they've done something particularly horrible to black people in a certain way, like diverted like positive movements or spread a lot of anti-black propaganda. So far, I haven't seen her do that. So, but I will say, I gotta be real. I think her poems are whack. Uh, and I'm like, do I just want to bash her for the poems being whack? You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's not actually doing anything necessarily like evil or of ill intent. So I felt kind of weird, but the more I research her, I'm convinced she's gonna do something weird soon because she's vetted by like all the worst people. Like she's got all the hallmarks of credentialed Negro whisperer that they're grooming to be like their shield. Like I've seen pictures and stills and write-ups of her meeting with politicians and other like major Democrats in 2000 since 2016 and stuff. So I'm thinking it's coming. She's gonna say something that is gonna be like one of those usual talking points, you know, that's gonna be like liberal shilling. Yeah, so uh I, I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see. But I mean it's gotten so bad that I feel like I have to say something. But the reason why I wasn't trying to say anything is I just didn't want to bash her for being whack. if if she was just a well-meaning, because a lot of people get to be mediocre and make money, but you know I mean I know her mom has like a white a white guy, but I mean just based on that, I mean I don't know what her mom did. Her mom was with a black guy at one point to produce her. Maybe the mom just loves the guy. I'm not one of those people. Like, to me, her mom having a white husband alone is not something that's gonna like make me cancel the mom. But if the mom starts saying crazy stuff, then to me that becomes kind of yeah. But yeah, I do think she's gonna be on some all Black Lives Matter stuff sometime soon, or black men are trash, just because the blueprint is so well known at this point. that all things seem to see. I mean, I'll even say this, and this might be controversial. Even if she dates a white guy, if she doesn't say anything bad about black men, if she doesn't do anything about, if she doesn't say or do anything that's necessarily anti-black, like I'm of a let live and let live thing. Like if she's dating a white guy and then she's talking about saying all this horrific stuff about black people, that to me is when I care about that stuff personally. I know it's not everybody's. I know that's not everybody's. Mantra. Everyone's free to live their life for whatever mantra they were. I mean, they want, but I mean, cause the same with me. My wife is Indian, so people can move that goalpost all over the place, and they could say, "Who are you to talk about black issues?" Because your wife's not black. I mean, like it. So it's like I don't know. I saw the pictures of the mom, but that wasn't something what I would even. That's not something I would even bring up in the stream. But if she starts like doing weird thirsty things for like white people and does all this extra stuff of constantly salivating with white people or and then bashing black people, like that's when that stuff gets on my nerves and becomes relevant. But I respect everyone's right to have their limits to what is a deal breaker for them. So if that bothers you, I'm not going to tell you not to be bothered by it. I want to play something real quick. I was wrong yesterday about something. I was looking at the wrong Kwame Ture clip because I watch a lot of his speeches and I got conflated. This is the one that I was thinking of yesterday. And this is the Kwame Ture about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and this is the one I really like. And I'm gonna play the right video now, but this is something that used to always happen. Right? Is people would always talk about, hey, I'm a Malcolm, not a Martin, or talk about Martin Luther King's a coon, and I'd be like, all they ever see you do is tweet, or when we're at work, if it's a coworker, I never even see you loud talk the boss, you know what I mean, or loud talk the manager. So who are you to call yourself a Malcolm? And what I always say is Martin Luther King, just because he was nonviolent in the face of death. Like, he wasn't a coward, because a coward is someone who stays home and avoids the fight. Like, he went into battle, even if it was with nonviolence. He went into battle and he nonviolently, like, looked death in the face constantly and risked his life and went in with bravery and courage. And I'm like, if somebody is preaching or living nonviolent, but in the belly of the beast and doing stuff, and you're talking violent and radical and revolutionary, but you're on your computer and tweeting all day, like get out of here. Like who are you? Like I'm not that brave. I'll be real. I haven't paid that price. I haven't risked that price like Martin Luther King did. I would never ever do any of that cosplay stuff. Um, okay, but this is the speech that I wanted to put on. Tell me if you hear the sound. I forgot if I clicked the sound button.
Everybody loved King because King is an honest man. Even if you disagree with his tactic, even if you disagree with his strategy, you must respect the man whose actions conforms to his words. And whether you like him or not, he said nonviolence, he was in the front lines, Jack. He said nonviolence, he was the first to go to jail. He said nonviolence, he was the first to be whooped. Therefore, you have to respect this man even if you don't like him. I know many said, well, I ain't going for that nonviolent stuff. I ain't into that. What you doing? Nothing. Shut up.
I love that. What you doing? Nothing. Shut up.
That's right. You don't criticize somebody who's doing something when you're doing nothing.
Yeah, I love that you don't criticize someone who's doing something when you're doing nothing. Like, like when I talk about these protesters and Black Lives Matter and other things that they're doing, like even though they're in the streets going to the protests, even though they don't even do that anymore, I don't think that's actually doing anything. I think that's just like a dance party in the Soul Train line at the end of the day. I don't think. But if I thought on some level they were doing something, I would totally, totally be on board with that. Um, okay, let me just get the guest on. Hold on. I just want to get him on. Hold on. Get him on. Yeah, but that's something I really believe in. Like you have to yeah, yeah. So he's gonna be coming in here soon. Yeah, so I've never seen the original. I've never seen the original Lupin. The I've never seen the manga, the anime. I've never seen the original French novels it was built on. Yeah, I mean, all the signs kind of, I don't know. I want to see what Amanda Gorman's about before I start, evaluating her lifestyle choices, her music, whatever. But I do think what I can judge is the quality of her work, and I'm not gonna lie, that is whack. That those poems are weak. The Super Bowl poems are weak. I think she's pretty. I think I buy her more, with the modeling than I buy her with the other stuff, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So other than that, there's another good Kwame Ture clip I wanted to play as well, but I don't think we're gonna have a chance until. Well, what else can we talk about real quick? Yeah, Amanda Gorman is, man. It's not even as good as Def Poetry Jam. Like Def Poetry Jam was already when it was starting to slip and become self parody, but she's worse than that. She's using all types of weird stuff in there. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She sees nice. That's kind of the thing. Like, so I feel kind of weird. I don't want to just bash her for being, but it's getting hard not to, especially because she's talking about her interviews and she's presenting herself as being, having stuff to say, and she's talking about being president, and they're hyping her up. And I do think at this point it's getting so ridiculous. Even if I don't directly criticize her as much, I want to criticize the liberals propping her up because I think there's something low key racist about it in the terms of the bigotry of low self expectations. Yeah, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying all this stuff could be true. And I think it's good to keep your eyes on it. But I'm saying, to me, it's just something I'm finding a way and noticing and waiting to see what she does. But until she actually does anything treasonous yet, like I feel like just bringing up her dating and whatever, um, I can't really say anything about it yet until she, like it might become relevant, it might not, but we'll see. Yeah, the aspiring to be president, it's all, and it's just very patronizing to me the way they're setting it up. I just find it all very patronizing, and gross. Yeah, so I don't know. Definitely neo mammy vibes happening. A little bit too young and beautiful to be a neo mammy, but in that vein, But I think Mammies don't really get sexualized, and I think they're going to sexualize her as well. So uh, we'll see, we'll see. But it might be a mix of the Mammy and the Jezebel that might end up happening. We'll we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I am not. I mean, I just wonder, like, if the people really think she's that good. Like, what's going on with the people propping her up? Or are they like, or is it to them? To them, is it like when to them, is it like when your kid comes home and has like a effed up ashtray they made in art class, and you act like it's good because you think that's the best they can do? Isn't that precious? Like so it's like, but the reason I'm not so sure about that is because even the white people that get elevated these days by liberals are like pretty mediocre. Like that white woman who did that white girl who did that feminist poem that Ashley Judd read. Remember that poem? Was at the Women's March? The Women's March poem. Uh, Nasty. I am a nasty woman, and it was like a tribute to Hillary. I mean, that was a pretty cringe poem, and that was by a white person. So I think like the mediocrity. Maybe it's not even a racial thing. Maybe it's not even a racial thing anymore. I think it used to be, or maybe it's. I don't know. Like I feel like mediocrity is like the order of the day these days, and I'm not even sure anymore if it's just a racial thing anymore. Like I used to think that, but now I think white people have lowered the expectations even for themselves. Like these are really the lowest caliber white people I think I've seen in my living history. Like the type of white liberals and pundits and people we have now. I mean, like look at the kind of operators Bill Clinton used to surround himself with. And Carville and Dick Morris and all these people, just like canny sharks, whether you agree with them or not, these people were like very canny sharks. And then you look at like the morons that Hillary, if you read the book Shattered and then see how Hillary Stapper kind of responded to Shattered, they're super loyal. Like Bill Clinton's people weren't that loyal. Like Dick Morris turned on him later, like in a hot second, and cashed in with Fox News, and those people didn't really care, but they were smart. They could balance loyalty and smarts. Like the type of people they have now. Ian Sams, who is Kamala Harris's guy, was really yeah. Kamala Harris's guy was really ridiculous. Like that guy was so incompetent. He failed upwards. Hold on. Yeah, just walking the guest through the process. Yeah, but does anybody like her? Let's play devil's advocate. Don't be scared. Is anyone here? Is anyone here like, damn? She kills. She's killing the game. Those poems are my cup of tea. Because maybe some of y'all like that, and I just kind of want to know. I don't want to be one sided. Yeah. So let me know. Yeah, let me know if you are Amanda Gorman. See, are you part of the are you an Amanda Stan? Are you an Amanda Stan? Is there a name? Is there a Gore Hive? Have they started a name yet? Like people. Oh yeah, yeah. She's hugely inspired by Lin Manuel Miranda. That says a ton right there. You don't even. That says a ton. That speaks volumes. And she used like lines from Hamilton in there, but she also used lines that seem to be from I Believe I Can Fly. Uh, if you look at it and listen, there is some lines there from I Believe I Can Fly. And You know the part like if I can believe it, I can achieve it. Yeah, like that stuff. She was definitely like it's really really banal. Let's see if we can find. Yeah, but it's really juvenile. And one thing they keep calling her the poet youth laureate. So I think a lot of people kind of think, oh, she's a she's a she's like a teen. We gotta judge her by teen standards, but she's 22. She's 22 years old. She's not like that young. You know, she's old enough to do better than that. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Reddit thread, do you think?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, I can't hear anything though. All right, hold
Oh,
on.
you can't hear anything?
Uh,
Okay, so you know what? Let me
oh, it's working. Got it. Can you hear me?
oh, cool. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, I'm gonna full screen this. I've got two lances on the screen, so I gotta hide one of me because this is just it's too redundant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you probably have a way more serious. Like this might confuse you by being too simple. Like because you probably have a much more complex setup. This is like,
This is nice. I like it.
yeah, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's so idiot proof. It might actually like confuse you because you're probably used to higher end stuff. Yeah, but I want to have it like what you have, where you have like the chat on the screen and all that stuff. But
I
can't
got
figure out-
well, I made a tutorial to teach people how to use OBS. I'll email it or Twitch it, or I'll send it to you on Twitter. But it's basically just a rundown of all those fancy things.
Thank you. I've been trying to ask people. I asked Amy as well. I tried to ask different people, and everyone's like, "I had someone else do it for me." I'm like, oh, "Okay." So
that was Amy's answer. Is that Amy
Yeah.
like C3?
yeah, yeah. I hope I didn't blow up her spot. Let me I hope I didn't dry snitch on
that's
her.
funny.
Yeah, but you know what? I forgot exactly how I first came across you, but since I came across you, it's like it's been a great way to find news. So I mean, you digest a lot of news like every day. I mean, I'm very impressed with what you
Thank
do.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. If you could just tell
Although you're being really kind, but there is times when I just turn on Democracy Now! And then that's like for 50 minutes, and then like Amy Goodman does all the reporting, and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I agree with all this.
But yeah, let the people know who you are and where to find you. I said real quick earlier, but I'll let them hear it from you.
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name's Lance of the Surfs. I do political comedy dumpster fire stuff on the internet. You can find me at twitch.tv/thesurfstv or everywhere social media is sold at the Surfs TV. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm cool and with it, with the kids. And then, vice versa. Do you want to give everyone a shout out? Because I think I still have like 1,000 people watching live right now.
Oh, cool. Hey, everybody, how you doing? This is Champagne Sharks. We're gonna be talking about news. I hope we don't like get too redundant with what you were talking about. But when I checked, you were doing that Vosh versus Destiny thing, and that was draining, secondhand draining. I was impressed that you could go through that. That was very that the type of mind that what it reminds me of. Did those guys come from the atheist scene?
I don't know.
Oh, because I feel like the new atheists, I was never part of the atheist scene or anything, but I used to just get fascinated by how much those guys liked arguing. And it was arguments like that. Like, here's another thought experiment to trump your thought experiment. Or, it's like a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. Like, I'm going to set a trap card. And, if I can steer you to this, I'm going to flip my trap card on you. And it's going to be some kind of fallacy, something with a Latin name, it was like that. But oh wait, I lost your audio. Hold on, I lost your audio. If you check the cam/mic thing, it should.
Wait, is it?
Oh, there we go. I got you.
Am I okay? I gotta ask my chat because my chat's saying I'm muted now.
Oh, I wonder if there's for some reason you can only do one at a time. I hope not.
Yeah. Now. Oh my god. Now I'm silenced.
Oh no. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I know. Well, they can't hear me.
Oh.
Everyone's like, I can't hear your voice. Oh, poor chat. All right, hold on a sec.
Oh well. How do you want to do this? Do you want to? Oh, because you're still doing your show now.
Well, I'm live. Oh, maybe I'm back. This is why I don't like connecting through other machines. I know my mic is off, chat. You're going wild.
Oh, they're going crazy. Well, do you want
Okay,
to try? Do you
here.
want to try to pick?
Well,
How
how about
about
I
I
do
let you
this?
off, and then
No,
you
no,
try to
no,
pick
no, no,
it?
no,
Okay.
no, no. Here's probably the easiest thing. Why don't I raid into you? That way, I'm not streaming anymore, and I'll just keep doing the
Okay.
interview from there. Does that work?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'll work.
Okay. All right. Hold on a sec. What's your Twitch?
Twitch.tv/champagne sharks. Someone said don't insult Yu-Gi-Oh by using it to describe Vosh. I don't really know much about either of them, to be honest, except secondhand stuff. I know Destiny has gotten into it with people I know, like Q/Andre and Nina Monet and that whole thing. And I've seen him say like some incredibly racist stuff, but I don't really know anything about Vosh too much. It's like I see them recommended to me sometimes on YouTube, and I never click. But after seeing that debate today, I think I made a good call. That was that was painful. So let's see. I think we
Give me one
lost.
sec.
Sure, no
Now
problem.
everything felt turned off. Okay, here we go. So you can still hear me on your end, though.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Man, I gotta find some new way to do this. Okay, there we are.
All right, cool, cool.
Okay, hi everyone.
Hey, so suddenly a lot of people are here on the Twitch side of things. Very cool, very cool. But yeah, I was very when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I did not ever click on any of their stuff because that seemed very painful. Like both of them seem too eager to set up, like I said, trap cards on each other and walk each other into traps. And
I have to finish the whole thing before I give a full review of it. But it's really interesting the dynamic too. I don't know if you know this, but Vosh used to kind of like idolize Destiny, so that was kind of one of those student and master situations.
oh, one of those notice
Or
me, yeah,
yeah, or
senpai
the Star
thing.
Wars thing where it flips, right? So that's why
Oh,
yeah, I thought it was fascinating for that too. Also, kudos to your plant game. I know you got a bunch of plants behind
oh
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, thanks. We in quarantine, I got into plans to stay sane, and I went a little overboard. But I see you got a lot too.
Well, I was gonna say I'm doing the same thing. I got
Yeah.
my chat to name them. That one in the back is Figgy Smalls, Sir Plants-a-Lot, and then I think that one over there is Plantifa on the top. Yeah.
Is there a Fernie Sanders or no?
No, why didn't we do a Fernie Sanders? Oh
Yeah, she got a
man,
Fern.
I know. Now I got to get a Fern. That one's a freebie. Oh man.
The yeah, I even started like breaking off. Like I've gotten bored enough to go on YouTube and I learned how to like break off branches and grow branches into new plants. So like on
Oh
top
wow,
of everything else, I'm even
that's called cloning, right?
yeah cloning. So I'm even like cloning like the palm tree here,
That's really
and
cute.
yeah, it's got roots and everything. It's what quarantine has gotten me into. It's either that or just keep eating even more. And that was but yeah, I want to talk to you about what was in the news today.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah, totally.
yeah, one thing is Neera Tanden. I don't know if you've been following that at all. I've been secondhand kind of following it, but um supposedly
Do you
her
know her from back in the day? Like, do you remember her from the Bernie Sanders campaign?
oh
Before
yeah,
the
yeah.
debate?
Her
Okay.
I totally remember. And I think it's just so funny that actually, you know what? Let me see if I could find it. This is a really funny tweet somebody put up, but she used to always like to say all the time that Twitter's not real. Twitter's not real. Twitter's not real. And now suddenly she's finding out like how real it is because it's messing with her confirmation. But do you think because I just feel like nowadays uh power just takes care of power, whether it's left or right. I still think at the end of the day, no matter how much they pretend to be giving her a hard time, I feel at the end of the day they're just going to uh do it. It's just formality of just acting tough. But I was curious if you have any thoughts about that.
So I didn't watch all of the hearing, but I watched some highlights of it. I think it's weird that this is what they're going at her for the tweets, and I guess that makes sense, right? From the Republican side, you want to be like, well, at the end of the day, you said things that were horrible. You called Mitch McConnell Voldemort, and how could you say such things? And I really don't like Neera Tandem. And when I was hearing that, I was like, it's pretty based.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually,
A lot of
why are
people
you
are
making it
saying
sound
that.
better?
Yeah. Out of all the things to bash her for, like they found like her like 8 good tweets and
Right?
got her for those. But I guess we're not gonna care about her getting Matt Brunig fired or anything like that. That's not going to chafe them. But yeah, she loves trying to get people fired all the time. And I just think it's funny that she's talking today about yeah, I don't think my tweet should be considered like the sheer hypocrisy. The sheer hypocrisy. This is her in 2019 because on screen.
Yeah,
Twitter is not real life. I'm so grateful for this article that basically proves that Twitter is not real life. You know, it talks about Democrats who are most vocal on Twitter or whatever. Another reminder that Twitter is not real life. It's a third tweet.
she has a sign, like a signature.
Yeah, she loves this. Realizing Twitter is not real life is liberating, especially in 2019. Something about 2019, this was really, you know, her thing. Even though she already got people fired due to their tweets by this time, like it's extra
So,
ironic that.
so can you fill that in for me? Who did she get fired? How does that
Oh,
work?
Matt Brunig told us like to shut the f up or something, and she got him like fired from his policy job
Oh wow,
and got him into
I didn't know that.
trouble. Yeah. It's let's say get the details so I don't mess it up. But
That's absolutely
yeah,
wild.
yeah.
I like what other thing about all this when I was reading through some of the tweets, and she's deleting them now, right? Like she's
Oh,
going through it.
I'm sure she is. I'm
Yeah.
sure she is.
Um, I had heard that she was tweeting more than Donald Trump. Like she's a more prolific tweeter than Trump was by like a big
Oh,
ratio.
oh, I totally believe it because you know what thing with Trump that makes him seem like he's tweeting a lot. Every time he tweets, everybody puts it on blast, but people put every single one of his
True.
tweets on blast. But she has like tons of tweets that fly under the radar. She's definitely a much more prolific tweeter. Here, progressive blogger. This is 2016. Progressive blogger fired for calling Hillary Clinton ally a quote unquote scumbag. Uh, so,
Wow.
yeah.
So she's not
Matt,
really for the free speech. My progressive blogger was fired Friday for Lincoln allies. This scumbag. Wow.
yeah, that's what makes this extra hypocritical. Is even
Yeah.
if I was someone who believed that people shouldn't get fired for these kind of tweets, which you know I do believe. In her case, I'm making an exception just because of her sheer hypocrisy in
Yeah.
in all this, you know.
That's
So
odd. I mean, that's not libel or slander though, because Hillary Clinton was a scumbag. Like you could prove that in a court of law.
yeah, and she kept trying. This is what you said: scumbag Neera uses welfare when she needs it, then takes away from others when they need it. Disgusting. And then because she claimed I've been on welfare myself. I don't need lectures on this topic from you. So then he pointed out that makes it even worse if you've been on it yourself and want to take it away from other people. And you know, she basically, and then he did a GoFundMe you know, due to getting fired and raised a lot of money. If I remember correctly, she got upset about that even, you know, and was sending all these trolls after him. It was pretty nasty. So there's a lot of poetic justice to this, I think.
My question I wanted to ask you is where do you see this going? Like, I don't even understand why they decided to pick Neera for this position, knowing what like a middle finger it essentially was going to be to the Democrats, especially the progressive Democrats.
I think we were talking about this before you came in, and I think we're talking about how loyalty over competency is at an all-time high. And you know, the Hillary people, if you read the book Shattered and then saw how they responded to Shattered by showing pictures for the campaign where they're all smiling, like they're just really kind of dumb in a lot of ways, but they're fiercely loyal. Like you don't really see a lot of them pulling a Dick Morris, what he did with Bill Clinton, where he's writing tell-all books about or going to Fox News. They're like Omerta. They're like the Blue Wall. Like they are fiercely loyal, and they all kind of failed upwards into the Kamala's campaign and stuff like that. And Trump is another example. Like he had like sheer morons, and he was letting them like try his cases. They went to the voting challenges, and they were like utter morons. So yeah, I think that's the game that Neera is like that. She's like a consigliere or a capo who's like fiercely loyal, except that they're dumb. They're just dumb, dumb, dumb. Like she'll fall on any sword you want. She'll be the crash test dummy. So I think she had this coming in their mindset. Like they had to give her something because she's been like a loyal soldier. And I guess maybe they thought, it won't be that big a deal. These right wingers don't really look at Twitter because look at what she says. Twitter's not real life. I'm sure Joe Biden never looks at Twitter. I'm sure he just has an intern doing it. We've only had one real poster president, and that's Donald Trump.
That was Donald Trump. Well, for now, just stay tuned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean,
I think there's so much to dislike about her outside of the tweets, and I'd be curious if they're going to bring any of that up. Especially from the progressive side, are they going to bring up her support for interventionism in Libya? Are they going to bring that up at all? Or are they just going to talk about how she had a handful of spicy tweets and she's apologizing for them now? Are they going to talk about how she was very firm about eroding a lot of the programs that Bernie Sanders wanted, the progressive programs that I think would benefit a lot of Americans, right?
And please talk about all that. Talk about all the horrible things about her that are better to focus on, because a lot of people might not know them in my chat.
Well, I mean, beyond the ones I'm listing, I think she worked. I want to make sure I'm not just misspeaking, but I would look this up. I think she worked for a think tank as well. Which anyone who works for like an economic policy institute should be setting off alarm bells to some. She's the president for the Center for American Progress.
And they're known for horrible things. I can't remember them all now. I can look up the article. There was an article I read all about how bad she was. I'll see if I can find it.
So the Center for American Progress was created in 2003 as an alternative to think tanks such as the Heritage Foundation. Well, I mean, as long as you're like diametrically opposed to the Heritage Foundation, because that's a really bad think tank. That's probably amongst the worst ones. But so basically, this is a think tank from a liberal perspective, right? And how to grow things like equitable growth. Definitely concerned with means testing, it would seem. I like the science progress part of this, though. This sounds kind of good. So she's opposed to Bernie Sanders' single-payer healthcare plan. Critics said that this was because of the funding from healthcare industries, such as the True Blue Cross Shield Association. So there's a suspicion that because of money that comes from the Blue Cross Shield Association, that it makes the center biased. So the center, that's probably one of the worst things about them, is that they oppose single-payer health in the United States. Which is an unusual thing to do in this day and age, but sure. I mean, that's your mandate. You've had it since 2003.
And for people who want to read more, current affairs, this is the article I read. Nathan J. Robinson had in 2018, "Why the Center for American Progress Betraying the Left?" And that article has a lot of stuff in it for people who want to read more about specifically that think tank. But it's a huge one, and it's very problematic. Hey, Vita, say hi to Lance. Lance Vita.
Hi, Lance. How are you?
I'm doing great. Vita's. Oh, hi, Vita. Sorry, I didn't have that window open because I don't like just like looking at myself while I talk. So I had the other one. But yeah, it's very, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but go on, Lance.
Oh, I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the center. Oh, sorry. I still have this article open. So it says the harsher criticisms of the center, for which, again, she's the current president of. In 2016, The Intercept reported that the United Arab Emirates ambassador to the U.S., Yusuf El Otaiben, praised their reports released and advocated for continuing operation in the Gulf states. So they are very pro America intervention in Saudi Arabia. Sorry, not in Saudi Arabia, but supporting Saudi Arabia for Saudi Arabia's proxy wars, like Yemen, for example, and furthering America's influence in that region. So and these are things that obviously deeply concerned me. I'm sure they're deeply concerned the both of you. I'm sure no one here wants more America trying to, for better words, mess up the rest of the world for its own political interests. But she's concerned with that as well, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, someone put a great comment here that progressives need to be fighting like hell to keep Neera out of any position of power. But sadly, a lot of people don't care about this stuff, especially international stuff. I find international stuff, drones, schmones. People that's basically how a lot of liberals view things. So yeah, I mean, yeah, but she's pretty disturbing. But part of me thinks that focusing on the tweets is a way to act like they're giving her the business, but actually approve her. Because by focusing on that rather than actual horrible stuff, it kind of makes it easy to be like, okay, well, at the end of the day, it's tweets. We're gonna approve you, but we get to show our base that we gave the liberal like a hard time or something. So even though to me it's kind of cool to see, I'm actually wondering if it's indicative of the opposite, that she might actually, because like you said, there's so many worse things to get on her. But this thing goes on for like a while, right? Isn't it going on for like months or something?
The process, yeah, it will take a while, and I think I could be wrong on this as well. But Bernie Sanders might be one of the final says, right? As the chairman of the budget committee, he would have to approve this.
I feel like Bernie Sanders is going to. I hope Bernie Sanders is like, you know what? Forget it. I'm getting close to retirement soon. Let me just tank her. I hope he doesn't try to do this, the West Wing thing, and because at the end, last couple of months, he's been kind of on that, olive branch. I'm gonna be a good Democrat for the sake of the party thing. I hope he gets petty on this one. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bernie Sanders has more power inside the political apparatus of the United States than he's ever had right now as the chairman of the budget. So I think, of course, he's playing the political game, and that's pissing off deep-seated people who want to see Bernie just like start an actual revolution.
Yeah,
but they're also pushing for some good shit, like what is it? The $15 minimum wage that unfortunately is coming by 2025, but still the $15 minimum wage, that is only because of the Progressive Caucus who just pushed for that in Biden's new stimulus bill, the 1.9 trillion stimulus bill that he's pushing for, or sorry, that the House just approved. They included the $15 minimum wage when they were about to. Joe Manchin and a lot of the center Democrats were trying to take it out. They're like, this could collapse the economy. This could be really, really bad. We'll lose millions and millions of jobs as a result of it. So let's take this part out. And then it was the Progressive Caucus under Bernie Sanders that basically put that back in.
I mean, in general, one problem I have with a lot of online leftists is they're really unrealistic about what to expect from social democrats in the electoral process. Like, they really want him to go in there with like a Molotov cocktail, it seems sometimes, and just start throwing stuff. And it's like, like that's not gonna happen, whether you want it to or not. Like, if that's a deal breaker for you, you should not really put your hopes in anything DSA related. Like, that's just not the nature of the thing. It's like getting mad at a cat for not being a dog.
I totally agree with you. If that's your thing, don't look to just electoral politics. But I also don't agree with the idea that, like, if we had gotten Bernie Sanders in as the president, and by the way, I say we even though I'm a Canadian, but like, if I was not only rooting for Bernie Sanders, I was volunteering for him. I made a mobile game to try and fundraise money for Bernie Sanders with a bunch of other people.
Oh my God, that's like foreign interference. You're like one of the Russians.
I was trying to change the outcome of the election. But even if Bernie Sanders had won, like that wouldn't be like, it's done. We've done it. Especially as a leftist, I wouldn't be like, oh, this is socialism. We've got everything we've ever wanted, right? I think first off, everyone would start hating Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders wouldn't turn off all American wars day one. Like, he wouldn't. His generals and everything would be like, I'm sorry, but we cannot stop this intervention, this occupation. We can't put an end to that just yet. And at the same time, people would need to still get out on the streets. They would still need to protest. Bernie wasn't for defund the police. Some people forget that as well. And like, that one was one that really hit home for me, where I was like, we're identifying a pretty distinct problem here, and one in which I think the best path forward would be emulating what other countries have done, like other countries that don't spend as much money on policing. They don't spend half their city budget on the police budget, right? They put more money towards institutions that I think help a lot of the problems that police cause, like answering calls for people with mental health crises and stuff like that. You should have social workers doing that. You shouldn't have the police with guns doing that. Like, that's going to lead to a bad outcome just by the nature of the scenario setting up, right? So I think even with Bernie Sanders, you still need people protesting, helping each other out, doing mutual aid, direct action, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is the part where we do the normal house cleaning. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com, Champagne Sharks, or other ways you can support us, help us get equipment and other material. You can go to Venmo or Cash App, Champagne Sharks, or PayPal, Champagne Sharks at Gmail. If you're on YouTube, feel free to hit the super chat. And on Twitch, subscribe and do all that good stuff, and all the information is going to be at the bottom of the screen, and you can go to champagnesharks.com and see all these types of links related to the show for where to find the episodes and where to support. Just have to do the obligatory house cleaning. Yeah, but I agree with all that. You find out with black politics too, with the black politics. Okay, I was gonna say, did someone sneeze?
No. I was just going to add to that. I was like, everyone, support the show if you can. $1.
Oh yeah, appreciate it.
You spend on coffee. Support the Champagne Sharks. Every single one of you. Support independent creators. It helps them keep making stuff, because we don't have big corporate sponsors like Dave Rubin does or Ben Shapiro. We survive by our fans.
Thank you very much. We find out with black politics a lot too, where people want someone to come in there and just curse everybody out and stuff, and it's like, anybody who got that far is not going to play that. It's not going to do that. Like, it just doesn't work that way. And I feel that way with Bernie too. But I mean, it's kind of like the whole Jimmy Dore thing.
I totally get that. Like, if I had a certain politician that I put all in for, and they got that to that level, I would be like, okay, now's your chance. Can you please go up to Ted Cruz and just be like, F you? I don't know if I can swear on this show, but
no, you can. Go ahead.
Okay, I would just be like, fuck you, Ted Cruz, you Canadian motherfucker, blah blah blah. Like, have fun with that. But you'll never get to that level if that's how you play the game, unfortunately, right? When it comes to politics.
Yeah, Vita's always saying that, like, anyone who gets too far has got to be, at least somewhat amenable to playing the game to get that far.
It's funny because I was actually going to say, or ask, do you guys think it's better to have a lot more skepticism than a lot of these people seem to have? Like, they seem to have this belief in Bernie Sanders is our new savior, AOC is our new savior, Obama is our savior. Right now, they think, all these other people are their saviors, and they're doing the work. They're on the ground. Even me back in the day, I worked for the Democratic Party back in the day. I was in college and poor, and I needed the money, but I was still working for the Democratic Party. And a lot of the politicians, that were running in California, I knew their work, and even I believed in them. You know what I mean? And so I'm just curious to know, do you think we just need even more skepticism? Or do we need more trust in the right people?
I'll let Lance go first.
Okay. I totally agree with you in the sense that people shouldn't have these cults of personality, right? Where we idealize these. Well, like savior. You're so right about AOC. Some people think AOC is like this goddess sent to save us, and the other people think that like she's literally Satan and she's trying to destroy
right.
the world, right? Yeah. Whereas like she's a normal person like you and me, right? Who happens to be in that position as a politician. I think if anything, we shouldn't isolate the progressive members of the Democratic Party because they are the people who are way closer to your probably values and beliefs than, say, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and the very deeply entrenched like corporate Democrats. If anything, I want more. Like, I want more AOCs. I want more Ilhan Omars. I want them to fill up the Democratic Party and make it a lot more left, or push it further to the left. But at the same time, I don't think depending on them to be the sole saviors of society is a good way to go either. Like, I think it does need to be as well people boots on the ground, people doing activism, that kind of stuff.
Something else that's been happening. Well, actually, let me give my answer to that question before we move on to this next thing in the news. I feel that the leftists and the black identity politics are kind of different in that when I see the leftists, there's a lot of squad or Bernie standing where it's like, hey, they're gonna save us. They're the best. Break out the guillotines and all this stuff. But there's so many crazy leftists who are just like nobody's electoral politics is leftist enough for them. Like they just are always ready to turn on Bernie and the squad. And you saw that with the whole Jimmy Dore versus AOC thing of where people came out on all different sides. Whereas I think in mainstream black politics, it's still very hard to get those people to say anything bad about Obama. Like you just can't do it. So I feel like
even in like leftist black politics, like I could see that for liberal, like the liberal wing, but I mean, and you tell me, I didn't know that. That's really interesting to learn.
Well, my thing is, I'm not talking about leftist black. I'm talking about like just black politics in general. I feel like black leftists are a very small part of black. I feel like black politics is just a big mass of liberals. I might be wrong, but I think there might even be, and if anybody has any numbers to confirm this, I think there might actually be more black conservatives than black full-fledged leftists. Yeah, I feel like there's probably like 80%, black, 80% black liberals, and like maybe 10 to 20% like black conservatives, and then 10% or 5% like black like hardcore leftists. And again, I could be wrong, but I will tell you even on Clubhouse when I go on that app, I see more black conservative rooms, and they'll be like full of people, than I will see like black leftist rooms. So
that's really.
I mean, it's not the most scientific.
Yeah,
yeah, by far not scientific. Yeah. I can't take that to the bank. I mean, Vita, I don't know what your take on that is.
The idealization.
Well, the idealization, but also the idea of how the extent to which in black politics it's hard to say anything bad about Obama, because I agree the leftists.
I didn't know that.
The black leftists.
That was news to me.
Yeah, the black leftists, like the Black Agenda Report type, are very eager to go against them. But I just feel like they're a very small part of the black community, personally.
Oh, they're extremely small. Like they're not even close. And I think most of us know that, because when we try, because think about, I'll tell you right now, if I post anything on my Facebook, and Facebook is majority people I know and love, family and friends, and then some people from Facebook groups and stuff. But if I say anything about Obama, you should see all the comments and all the arguments that take place. A lot of the arguments is because they feel that any attack on Obama is basically a slap in the face to Black Americans. I don't know why, but it's sort of connected to that, which I find to be interesting, because if you start asking how Obama helped their livelihood in any way, they never have an answer. The most they'll say is Obamacare. And even then, when I start getting into details of even their Obamacare package, their healthcare packages, they're still not really helped, right? Like I know when I tried to get Obamacare, there weren't enough subsidies for me, and I was on unemployment.
Really? And you still didn't qualify?
I didn't qualify. I made too much money. And I didn't qualify for the Medi-Cal program here, which is like Medicaid or whatever. So I was stuck. And people like me, and even if I had gotten a job, it probably wouldn't have been too much more than my unemployment if I had went really quickly. But yet I will only get to see a doctor 10 times out of the year. You pay this crazy monthly fee of like $100-something a month. And if you're a woman, any woman knows you might have to go to the doctor way more than 10 times that year. Most women have to go to the doctor pretty often. So to me, I just feel like Black people are so entrenched with the glamour of there being a Black president, and that Black president not being not being a Republican, that they're so enthralled by it. I think the same thing is happening with Kamala. It's the same thing. People are just so enamored at there being the first Black woman in the White as a vice president.
The representation part of it.
Right. And I think I think because we've been so conditioned to look for representation, we've been so conditioned to just be able to see ourselves in white America by looking at television, because that's been such a goal for us. I think we've sort of conditioned our minds to not understand there's other policies we should be looking at.
I mean, I can tell you from my perspective, my mom's Indigenous, and it's the exact same thing in Canada. Like when you have a politician rise to the level that they're in the Liberal Party of Canada, and they happen to be Indigenous, you would get like that little smile from my mom, right? Who would be like, yeah, but I was like, but this is still a neoliberal stooge. Like they're doing terrible things to the country. Like it's not a good thing that this person.
And what's crazy is
know.
they're usually not only doing terrible things to the country, they're doing terrible things to the group. Right?
Mhm.
So a lot of those policies affect the people in their group. So I'm sure there are Indigenous politicians who are hurting their own communities, and the people in those communities are still cheering it on and not realizing it.
Yeah. And that's sad to say the least.
Supposedly Biden's already walking back the minimum wage thing and saying that the minimum wage thing might not survive the COVID relief negotiations.
Oh, no.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting. I'll put it right here, talking about stuff that's in the news. But yeah, it's really going to be interesting. Let's see if I could. Yeah, here we go. This should be it. Oh, for people just coming into Twitter, like new people, we normalize simping for Vita, so feel free. It's a hashtag. It's recently started. Okay. Before you came, Vita, I announced that you were coming on, and then the chat filled up with hashtag simping for Vita. So.
Oh wow!
It's become a movement.
Y'all are so funny.
Be careful! You're not allowed to say that word on Twitch anymore.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's become a slur. Yeah, you're right.
It's become a slur, which is so ridiculous.
So we're saying it positively because
that's true.
I was like, you can't say that, T. You're gonna offend people. And he was like, no, it's like a thing that they embrace now.
Yeah, it's been reclaimed. Hold on, but check this out.
Turn now to the first part of our exclusive interview with President Biden. In the wide-ranging conversation, we asked about where he's willing to negotiate in his stimulus plan. You said you're not compromising on the $1,400 checks. You made that promise.
The funny thing is, $1,400 is already a compromise. Oh, by the way, Lance, I know you're new here. You're free to interrupt at any time, and we'll hit pause. You're not obligated to sit through the speech. So, because I don't know at which part he's going to say the money part. So,
but I'm also curious to see this because I haven't seen it yet. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah,
sticking to it. So the big question is who gets the check? Right. Is it someone who makes up to $50,000, or is it someone who makes up to $75,000?
I'm prepared to negotiate that, but here's the deal: middle class folks need help. But you don't need to get any help to someone making $300,000 or $250,000. So it's somewhere between an individual making up to 75 and phasing out, and a couple making up to 150 and it's phasing out. But again, I'm wide open on what that is.
You also want to raise the minimum wage to $15. Is that something you would be willing to negotiate on in order to get Republican support?
Well, apparently that's not going to occur because of the rules of the United States Senate.
So you're saying the minimum wage won't be in this?
My guess is it will not be in it. But I do think that we should have a minimum wage stand by itself, $15 an hour, and work your way up.
What's the date of this?
I believe this might be today. Let me see the tweet.
Well, but what's the date on the interview itself, though?
Oh! I see what you mean.
Yeah,
good question. Let's see.
Because I'm looking at CNN, and right now there's an article that says the included push for the $15 minimum wage is a good start.
Oh, February 5th is this thing. So it's actually a couple of days old. It's last Friday.
Now I'm trying to remember when they put that provision back into it. I can't remember if that was Friday. Also, how weird is it that it's been a month since the insurrection on the U.S. Capitol?
Has it really? That's so crazy.
It was the 6th, so we just hit the 1 month mark on the U.S. on the revolution in America.
Oh,
that's crazy because it doesn't even feel like that.
I know, right?
That feels like that was like 2 weeks ago.
I know.
Okay, so
wait, were we going to comment on what Chip Biden said? Because I kind of was trying to figure out what we were supposed to comment on. Because that made me mad what he said.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that is what he was. Yeah. Basically, feel free. But I think the latest news that I heard is that CBO, which is What is CBO again? I know it's some kind of.
So that report came out today, and that it basically, the research says that it would increase. Well, it would do two things simultaneously. It would cut a whole bunch of jobs. I think 1.4 million jobs in America. The problem is I haven't looked into the methodology of that report, but I don't know if those jobs, if they're salary jobs, because that's one thing to be like, okay, they're going to cut salary jobs. These are high-paying jobs for Americans. They provide them with healthcare. These are important jobs, and we're going to lose 1.4 million of those. And then I'm with you. I'm like, that's a very bad thing. Are they that, or are they contract jobs? Because every single year, and I think people forget this, Trump loved to brag about how there's more jobs than ever, more jobs for Black Americans, more jobs for Latin Americans, right? More jobs for every single group. I'm doing great things. The increase in jobs has actually been increase in contract jobs, as in temporary work, as in work that doesn't give you benefits, work that doesn't give you healthcare, or app economy stuff, right? Like people who drive Uber drivers, Foodora, all that kind of stuff. If they're slicing 1.4 million of those jobs, right? I agree, it's a bad thing. I don't want to see 1.4 million people lose their jobs because Uber refuses to pay the minimum wage or something like that. But that's very different than $1.4 million salary. Sorry, 1.4 salary jobs. It also says it'll uplift 900,000 of the poorest Americans out of poverty. And that isn't that's something that's getting overshadowed by the 1.4 million job losses, right? Uplifting 900,000 of the poorest Americans out of poverty. That would be absolutely incredible, right? Like that's life changing for many Americans. And I know right now the right is already going to clip this and be like, yeah, but Lance, it's not life changing to lose 1.4 million jobs. I was like, it is, but I need to know more about the methodology of that.
Yeah,
G Flota is telling you it's the Congressional Budget Office, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Rita, you were saying something about that clip, saying it was making you angry.
Well, I feel like sometimes these politicians are just throwing out numbers, and I think that's what bothers me. And they just sound good. Like even the idea around like $50,000. $50,000 a year is not the same across America. Mm-hmm. That's like so that I never understood that point. $50,000 in Idaho, $50,000 in Texas, $50,000 in California is not the same. So I just kind of feel
like life changing for some people too, right?
It could be life changing. It could be devastating.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If you live in LA and you have a family and you only make $50K, that's nothing. Mm-hmm. How a house in the hood costs $1 million. I'm not even exaggerating. Literally $1 million.
Wow.
In South Central Los Angeles, in Inglewood, right? So when we just start throwing out numbers just to make your position sound good, or just to make feel like you're really taking things into account, even that $2,000 is a slap in the face, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. You can't. What the fuck are you gonna do with that after you haven't worked for a year?
Yeah.
And that's
not to mention you may not have paid rent. You may not have paid your rent for like the past 6 months, and the only reason you haven't been evicted is they froze that. But otherwise, that money is still piling up. Right? Like, what's $2,000 going to do to that?
And the only jobs people are concerned. Wait, and I'm going to add this other point, because I was a former nanny. The other thing is that the only jobs they ever talk about are the jobs that are on the table. How many people lost their jobs under the table? When I worked as a nanny, there was no healthcare benefits. There was no there was no nothing. I got a check. I went to work. Whatever hours I worked is what I got. Nobody's talking about that too. So people are, if it was a COVID right now, a lot of families are firing their nannies because the parents are home all day. So when we're talking about people losing jobs and losing money, there's so much, and we know in low-income communities, there's another underground economy where people are trying to survive, and nobody talks about that either. So I just feel like they're just throwing out shit, and that's what bothers me even more.
Yeah, totally.
No, I totally agree.
Totally. Real quick. John Daniel, thanks for the donation. This is his comment, which is pretty good. That he learned more as a listener of the Champagne Sharks in all his years in school on history and media literacy. That's pretty good. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we have this comment. Not for tea. You make clear this is not for me. Hashtag Semper Vita. So
there was another.
I'm gonna be spec.
Another one. There was another one. Mean Boy.
Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah, it was another $10 donation. And I want to say it was someone named Mean Boy.
Oh yeah. Mean Boy. Okay. But Mean Boy didn't have much to say. He left it blank. I
just want to make sure we thanked him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm really curious about. Oh, this is a great comment. Yeah, I'm really curious about what's going to be in store for Biden, because it is pretty early. I mean, we have no we have no idea what's in the works for him overall. Oh, here is Neera Tanden talking about this is the final screen. This is what she said today, which again is really funny because she's tried more than one time to get people fired. Like one time she tried to goad somebody into going from unanonymous, but this is after she already got Matt Bruning fired. She's like, just telling someone, "Oh, you coward," to tweet at you anonymously, and it's like you get people fired. Of course, I'm gonna tweet at you anonymously. You're not gonna like reverse psychology me into unveiling myself, but yeah, she's apologized for some of her attacks on Twitter and other social media. I regret that language and take responsibility for it. But of course, only the attacks toward Republicans, not any of the ones toward leftists or Bernie Sanders or all those
of course.
people. She said horrible things about Bernie Sanders. Tanden says, but that's typical liberals to care more about what Republicans think about them than leftists. Tanden says, as she testifies before the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee on her OMB nomination, Rob Portman, who served as OMB director, says, quote, "The tone, content, and aggressive partisanship," unquote, of her social media posts makes it tough for her to serve. How do you plan to mend fences and relationships with members of Congress you have attacked in your social media posts? So they're making her performatively grovel. And Tanden says she, quote, "deleted tweets because I regretted my tone." Because you're up for this job. Quote, "I deleted tweets over many months because I regretted the tone of my tweets," she restated later. So yeah, she's eating a lot of crow right now. I hope Bernie Sanders gives her some of the same treatment. I somehow I don't see her acting the same. She might be like, "F you, I don't care."
I still think he's probably, it's going to be, how we were talking about earlier, how people get really mad at Bernie playing the game. I think he's probably still going to have to go through with it. Even though it's like, his arch nemesis, which is why I think it's such a bad place to be in.
I didn't see this. Someone said that Neera punched someone in real life.
What?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. What's that about? You learn stuff all the time in the chat.
Oh, that's why I love this as a medium. Like, I think I like streaming for doing news because like it keeps you in check, right? Like your chat will be like, "Oh, no, that's just not true," or they'll be like, "Oh, this actually happened."
Oh, supposedly she punched, and it wasn't a Maxine Waters attack. It was
a journalist.
Yeah, it was an actual punch. It wasn't, what happened with Maxine Waters, where it's like, yeah.
It was with Think Progress. Wow, that's the center left. That's like a liberal left website.
Yeah, someone who became Bernie Sanders' campaign manager. So it again another tie to Bernie Sanders. Crazy. Yeah. Faiz Shakir, who was his campaign manager. Yeah, she punched him and asked him, "Who do you think you are?"
Punched him in the chest.
Yeah, really interesting. This is another article I found that I'm not going to read in real time, but for people, I'm going to read it after we get off the air. This article is particularly about her bullying and includes the punching. It says Neera Tanden's unremorseful bullying should disqualify her from Biden's cabinet. And it talks about, it makes a nice joke, Neera Tanden, the queen of punching down. It goes, yeah, but a witness saw her punch him in the chest, and she goes, "I didn't slug him, I pushed him," which somehow does that make it better? And it has other examples too. So yeah, in addition to the Nathan Robinson one, Aura Madawi, Mahdawi, if anybody wants to read that. So how much time we have left? We have about like 10 minutes left or so. Anything else in the news either you want to talk about before we go?
It's my first time meeting both of you. Do you guys have happy stories? How are your lives? How's COVID survival? How are you doing?
Well, I thought I had COVID twice. Turns out I
what?
don't. I thought I have a cold.
Yeah, I know you say you're coughing.
Yeah, I've been coughing. That's why I've been trying to like mute it and turn off and whatnot. But yeah, so it's been outside of that, it's been okay. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on in the world, because I feel like if you're not actually out in the world and in the community, there's just no real way of knowing. Because if you just go by off your algorithms, you're not really getting the full picture. So it's just weird to me to not be able to just be out in the community. and kind of find out what's happening in my community. What are the politicians talking about? And what are the people in the community talking about in regards to it outside of Twitter? You know,
which is not healthy. It's not a good place to be.
no, not
Yeah,
even
for
a
sure.
little bit.
No,
For
I
sure.
mean Twitter, and I agree with you about the community. Are you guys both in like big lockdowns, like total lockdown?
I'm in LA, so
How bad is the lockdown there?
well, we just opened up the nail shops and barber shops and outdoor dining again. But at first, like about a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, I forget. Oh yeah, like 2 weeks ago, everything was locked down. You couldn't go to a nail shop, a beauty shop. Restaurants couldn't do dining at all, whether they were outside or not. If you wanted to do certain things, it had to be like super underground. So you gotta like get your nails done with a mask and glasses.
It was like black market nail polish and stuff like that.
No, dead serious. They blacked out the windows, and you had to go through, call a number, and go through like this secret way. Yeah.
What?
Like, knock on the door.
Oh,
they
wow.
knock on the door
That's
and let you
wild.
in.
Like a speakeasy?
I was gonna say that's like the
Low
prohibition
key.
days, but for getting your
Wow.
nails done.
Low key, you know.
And for who to see? It's like I have to stream, so I have to like put some kind of minimal care. But man, if I didn't have to stream, I would be a werewolf right now. I would look
Some people are still
horrible.
working. You gotta remember that.
That's
Some people are
true.
still
That's
working.
true.
You know what I
True.
mean? Sometimes it just makes you feel good. Like when I didn't have when the quarantine hit and everything shut down, I couldn't get my nails done and my hair. I felt horrible, especially since, you know, and a lot of people on Sharks know my story, you know, especially since, you know, taking care of myself was such a big, huge jump in addressing my depression and all that. So it was just like hard. Like I think people don't understand the mental health aspect of getting your nails done or your grooming, getting your hair cut. It's more than just a haircut. It's not as superficial as people think it is.
Yeah, you're actually totally right. I never think about that, but that was like, I remember when I was getting like peak scruffy when it all started. And then my partner, she ended up like giving me a really good haircut. It was the first time she'd ever cut hair, but it took 2 hours watching a YouTube tutorial, doing it at the same time. But when it was done, like I did feel like remarkably better. I was like, wow, it's nice to have like my head back, you know?
Exactly.
I'm gonna give TMI, but in the beginning of the quarantine, I started getting lax with the showers. Like when it started happening, you know,
because no one knows, right?
yeah. I would wake up and then I'd be like, I just feel like down, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I could skip a shower today. And then I started skipping like 2 days at a time, and I was like, okay, that's too much. Like,
how does your wife feel? Like that's some bullshit.
oh no, she was not a fan.
You're
She was not a
married.
fan.
Like, you're really wrong.
No, I totally agree. That's a
Yeah,
fair
she
call
was-
out.
Right?
She was not a fan, but
Poor woman.
But no,
Poor woman.
I don't know, but I don't sweat. I just exude, so I'm okay. You know, that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Yeah, but I'm very effervescent. But you know,
That
even
is
I,
so funny.
even I have my limits. You know, but every day, like first thing I do for the past couple of months is I shower and I take a 30-minute walk. It's funny to take pride in like showering every day, but that's how bad it was getting. Like I was just very bummed out. Like I just it was hard to get. Like I'm working from home and I would wake up like a minute before I had to turn on the computer, like, and you know, check emails. Like I would just literally like, I'm like, okay, how long would it take to brush my teeth and walk to the computer and be ready for the first email of the day? And I was getting like that. I was timing it like that much. I would just roll out of bed, brush my teeth, turn on and stuff. And then I was like, I really have to A, leave the house every day, and B, shower every single day before I do anything else. And I'm actually started taking better care of myself than ever before because more TMI, I used to underestimate lotion. I'm a big believer in lotion now. I thought people were exaggerating how important it was. You need lotion every single day, sometimes twice a day.
You live in the north and you didn't know you needed lotion.
No, it's like, air is dry as hell
You
here.
just be so bullshit. Like, what are you talking about?
No,
You're one of the coldest climates in America, and you're talking about some goddamn. I didn't know I needed lotion. As a
I don't
black
think-
man.
I don't consider myself light skinned, but I think I'm bordering. You know, I'm on the border of light
You ain't
skin.
light enough to not be ashy, Pete.
No. But that's what I was gonna say. No.
Yo,
Everybody's
take it from someone who's cream. Like I am
Yeah,
cream skinned. Lotion's good.
no. Everybody's ashy. even if you're white or whatever. But I think, you know, as long as it's not jumping out at you, I think a lot of people think I don't need lotion. Like, you know, because it wasn't like I was looking like, you know, pale or anything. So I'm like, it's okay. But when I started lotioning every day, I was like, oh my God, this feels so nice. Like it's just a nice, smooth, soothing feeling. Yeah. So, you know,
It puts
I mean, to
that
me,
in
like,
your-
I was like, if I'm talking to someone, they can't tell that I'm ashy. So I'm okay. I'm not saying I wasn't ashy. I'm saying you couldn't look at me and tell. So I thought I was getting by. And I was just hurting myself. That's it.
And
That's all.
also, doesn't your skin feel better?
It feels so good.
Like
No, but
it just
I had no
What was
point
I
of
thinking?
reference, so I didn't know. I didn't know what it was supposed. I'm like, is this how everybody feels all the time? Like I didn't know. That's my thing. I figured as long as I didn't look bad and nobody could look at me and tell, I was doing fine. But I had more time in the day. I just started putting on that lotion, and I'm like, damn, this is like a religious experience.
they clowning the fuck out of you in this chat.
I'm keeping it real, man. Wait, what's going on? Put
No, they're just saying all time. I'm trying to catch it all, but it's so fast.
someone said if someone isn't actually presenting, are they ashy? Yeah, see, I feel like I wasn't actually presenting, man. So I just felt
wasn't actually presenting.
I wasn't actually presenting, so I thought I could get people asking about the mayo habits. Mayo, I
Well,
think
they're like Lance is so white he's transparent.
Yeah. T, you need to be more like you should know about that. I can't believe you know they got body butters, we got body oils. You have all kind like, and you can get these things at your local CVS or right.
someone said Ashy Larry over here.
Yeah.
No, I think I was just light enough to not be ashy presenting, and I was just getting by with that. You know, like my elbows weren't the kind you could look at my elbows and be like, yo, he needs lotion. So I thought I was okay, but I was wrong. I was dead wrong. It's a whole new existence when you lotion it.
I think it's a vicious cycle because you said like because of your like depression, you weren't showering and you weren't using the lotion and the cream, and then I'm sure that was keeping you in perpetual like sadness as well, right? Like things could have been so much better.
But here's something else I found out too. He's the dark side of moisturizing. Now when I don't moisturize, now I am actually presenting. And I think when you moisturize a lot, when you don't moisturize, you get drier. So now if I don't moisturize, I will actually be noticeably ashy. So now I feel like I've kind of the flip side of it is I've trapped myself into this habit for the future.
I was gonna say that's how they get you addicted, right? Big creams.
He's about to slather himself in Fenty lava. See, these are the confessions you get on Champagne Sharks. Who else would be this transparent? No one.
I appreciate your transparency, but at the same time, yeah, you should have been using lotion. I mean, honestly, since I was rubbing cocoa butter on me since I was a baby. Like, what are you talking about?
I lived in Buffalo, and I still never got a regular habit.
Really?
Yeah, Buffalo is crazy.
Wait, don't Haitians use shea butter and?
Well, everybody does. No, it's nothing to do with being Haitian. I'm not gonna put on Haitian people. No. This is just.
Let me put it like this. When I thought of like butters and shit, I think of the African people and the Caribbean people. I'm thinking y'all just out there oiled the fuck up. So
no, I mean, no. I just refused. I just did not pick up the cultural habit. It wasn't. It was in my household.
I know that had to be part of your culture, T. I know that. Like, what are you talking? Cocoa butter and shea butter and all kinds of butters out there.
What about chapstick? Do you get chapped lips or?
Oh yeah, no, I have that. I have it right here. Okay. It's right here on hand. That's how loyal I am to it. But the rest of my body, you know, the elbows, everything, you know, I would let go, but always had the lips cat. No, but I'm a new man. I go through about like a bottle a month now. You know, it's. Oh, so Stevie McFly, you didn't know I was Haitian. Yeah. Yes. Sac passe, come on here. One form. How you doing?
Oh, I didn't know that's what that meant. I didn't know what they were saying. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What,
I didn't know
what
either.
does that mean? Sakpase.
Oh, that means how are you doing? Literally means what's passing. My
Okay.
body is the dilapidated temple. Oh, okay. I ran over. Supposed to go do something else now. But yeah, I'm glad I gave everybody enjoyment with the stories of my dilapidated temple. But I'm rebuilding. This is the one plus side of COVID.
Everyone is.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you, Lance, for joining us talking about lotion and news.
I didn't see the conversation going there. No, it was an absolute pleasure. You guys are awesome. Let's do it again soon.
Yeah, yeah. No problem. No problem. Said people couldn't tell from my accent. I don't have a Haitian accent, but
You might not know, but you might. Like sometimes people don't know that they have it on certain words or certain
yeah.
sounds.
Well,
Like,
maybe.
I didn't know I had an LA accent until people would point out certain things I said, and I was like, "Oh, I never even thought of LA people had accents." And then they would point out like where I sound like Ice Cube or something.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Be good.
Bye, everyone. Have a good
All
night.
right. Take care. All right. Bye. All right.
You didn't see it.
Oh, there we go.